Artur Beterbiev returns against Callum Smith, who's also returning. Both guys coming off some pretty long layoffs. Paulie malignaggi of a Paulie TV. One of the bigger fights to start out the year is Callum Smith and Artur Beterbiev, or Artur Beterbiev and Callum Smith, being that Beterbiev is the champion. Callum Smith has looked good at light heavyweight against a lesser level of opposition. Looks like he's carried his power up very well. Beterbiev always has a lot of power. What are we looking for in this fight? Well, first of all, Artur Beterbiev is that seek and destroy kind of a light heavyweight fighter, a contender, champion, one of the better fighters of this generation on most people's pound for pound lists. Is he getting older? Is he slowing down? Has he looked a bit more hittable? The thing with a guy like Artur Beterbiev, who he's such a destroyer, is even if he's winning and not looking as impressively, you sort of start to lean towards the fact that, he might be slowing down a little bit. But is he? I mean, this is going to go a long way in showing us. Obviously, a 38, 39-year-old guy is certainly past his prime. But a guy who typically doesn't have to go a lot of rounds because he's won all his fights by knockouts. Callum Smith is a guy who has had a lot of success as the super middleweight division. Only lost one fight to Canelo, Alvarez, who is one of the better fighters of this generation and maybe the most popular fighter of this generation. So that loss on Callum Smith's record doesn't look bad. So between the both of these guys, that is the one loss on their records. And like I said, Callum had looked good before. Done pretty well, been a world champion, had been one of the more impressive fighters. I know he struggled a little bit against Ryder and then lost to Canelo. But you know what? He went up to light heavyweight and has looked impressive since. This is the big step up. If there's a time for Beterbiev to be beatable, or there's a time to where Beterbiev is maybe a little bit on the chopping block, so to speak, as far as maybe is it his time to go, this could be one of those guys who gives him that threat. Callum Smith has been a guy who, like I said, has carried up his power well, strong, is rangy, and has a good right hand and left hook. And Beterbiev, very technically sound, but has never been a guy who's a Pernell Whitaker-esque defensive fighter. So, he's a typical seek and destroy guy. And even other punchers don't really bother him, and they don't even make him really adjust his game plan. Joe Smith came into the fight as a very known puncher. Beterbiev attacked him aggressively, just like he attacks everybody else aggressively. One thing to look for is Callum Smith going to be able to maintain range to maximize the leverage on his right hand, and also to be able to use that short left hook when Beterbiev does close range. For my liking, Callum Smith is a tall enough guy to fight at range and really maximize that power, but he typically lets guys in too easily for my liking, and that's why I still lean towards Artur Beterbiev in this fight. But I wonder, could there be knockdowns in this fight both ways? Is this the kind of fight? Listen, with Beterbiev, it could end in 1 round or 2 rounds, but it could also be the kind of fight that you really looks to be a fight of the year contender. If Callum Smith is able to get his hands on Beterbiev, I think he could at least get Beterbiev's attention and maybe even hurt him. And like I said, Beterbiev is not the hardest guy to hit. He just puts you on your back foot, and a lot of times when you back up a puncher, he becomes much less of a puncher. So obviously he's going to be looking to back up Smith, but if Smith is able to back him up, or at least make him respect that power just a little bit, get his attention just a little bit, and able to maintain that respect just a little bit, things could get interesting. I see Beterbiev getting inside, though. I see Beterbiev getting inside and eventually stopping Smith. Smith is a good catch and shoot with that left hook, but when you're catching and shooting a regular person, it's a bit different than trying to catch and shoot on the powerful Artur Beterbiev. I think the inability for Smith to hold range when he really should hold range more will eventually be his undoing, and I think Beterbiev gets a stoppage. But I think this could be interesting. I think this could be a good fight early on. I don't think this fight ends right away. I think this fight goes some rounds, but I think eventually Artur Beterbiev defends the light heavyweight title and goes to 20-0 with 20 knockouts in an entertaining fight. I'm Paulie Malignaggi. This is Paulie TV.